While notoriously difficult to address, there are a number of strategies that have been found to be helpful in developing self-assessment capacity. These include integrating self-assessment into all stages of the learning process, promoting the development of self-assessment skills from the outset prior to completion of a task, for example, inducting students into the language and meaning of assessment. This supports students' ability to monitor their own learning and to set and retune or refine goals impacting efficacy beliefs and perceptions of control over their learning. This in turn feeds perceptions of self-regulatory capacity. Students need to be clear about the criteria being used to assess their work and have active opportunities to engage in the development of criteria. Providing ongoing opportunities for students to practice their self-assessment skills using modelling, guided activities, approximations of practice to enable students to calibrate what quality is for themselves, while at the same time noting the importance of individual, and shared regulation processes required to support self-assessment. Key considerations for this include reinforcing the self-assessment experience across the curriculum using a similar structure of self-assessment throughout a course to increase the predictive value of self-assessment. Self-assessment needs to be modelled in an explicit way to support students in self-evaluating as part of a learning process. And you need to provide explicit tools to support their understanding, for example, clearly structured rubrics. This enables students to understand the law of comparative judgment. In the constant comparison of pairs of scripts, human beings are more reliable at making relative judgments of one sense impression against another than they are at making objective judgments of individual sense impressions in isolation. Placing students in situations that elicit errors and exposing them to ill-structured problems, followed by well-structured problems, can lead to better learning outcomes in line with theories of desirable difficulties and productive failure. As these approaches may encourage students to spend more time and at a deeper level trying to solve problems, they also draw on retrieval of information and meta-memory, which is memory of what you know. There's a need for challenge. Over-reliance on well-structured problems causes students to be underexposed to recognizing, representing, and justifying problems. Finally, the power of feedback to support self-assessment understanding is important. Situations need to be created for learners and teachers to experience the limits of their competence in the presence of feedback. Improvement strategies need to be tailored to those experiences rather than to self-assessment alone. As part of this, students need comprehensive opportunities to mark and give feedback on the work of others.